All right, if you're 55 or older and you're really concerned about your arm health, maybe they're getting a little flabby, you get those bat wings, or they're just starting to feel flabby and you're not as functional, we've got some answers for you.
We're going to show you 4, possibly 5 exercises to help build up that arm muscle and make that flab go away.
That's right, and look at this guy. He is an expert at it. He's got pipes the size of...
I got a PhD in arms.
Let's go at it. All right, now research has shown time and time again that elderly people, seniors, if you're 60 and over, you can build muscle, get stronger, and get a little more massive if you want to. If you're a woman, you don't have to worry. You're not going to get these big massive muscles. But it can happen, and we're going to, Mike, you tell them the why and hows of this.
So there are 3 key components to this. First off, you need to have intensity with the exercises. Then you need to have volume, meaning more of the exercise. And overall, you need to have more consistency. Those are the 3 important things you need to build muscle in any area of the body. But we'll explain it a little more detail later in the video.
Yeah, because I really don't know what you're talking about, Mike.
Just throwing words out there.
Actually, yeah, it'll be very clear, very simple in just a little bit. But first, we've got one important point to clarify. All right, now, for this to be an at-home program, I'm talking about my personal experience. I really think you need to use bands. And the reason is we're going to show you 5 or tell you 5 reasons. And it's very simple. And I think you'll actually agree with them. Now, number 1, they offer functional benefits. In other words, when you work bands, when I'm working my first exercise of my arms, it doesn't just strengthen my arms, but it strengthens my core and it works my balance. So it's going to help improve your balance, get your core stronger while you strengthen your arms.
Yes, many of the exercises we're going to show are called compound movements, meaning they work numerous muscle groups at once versus an isolated one muscle group exercise. We'll explain each when we're showing them, explaining which one is which. But another good reason to have bands is they're much cheaper than weights. Weights are heavy when you try to buy them. They're very expensive. Bands are much more reasonable, and you can bring them anywhere with you.
That's right. As far as floor space, now I have all my bands on one wall. They take 0 floor space except for when you use them, and when you're not using them, they hang there. I take them traveling, easily to go in my suitcase, and good benefits that are... Well, I'll go on to the next one. I'm getting tongue-tied, Mike. I'm getting excited.
Resistance bands are also very easy to change the resistance you're having. Each different color represents more or less resistance, and you can add numerous bands to one pair of handles. It's just quicker and more convenient to change versus having a whole weight system to deal with.
So the bands come typically like this is a set of 5 bands, different colors. There's typically a door anchor, which you'll show exactly how to use. Sometimes they come with ankle bands that actually adds leg exercises, which we're not getting into, so we're not going to talk about them. So let's get into the exercises, right, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay, then. Okay, so once you get your set of bands, 5 bands, and your door anchor, I believe they're somewhere around the $30 range. They work very well. All you need is a door. Now, Mike's going to show you how the door ankle works, and then we'll show you how the exercises work with the door anchor.
So all you need is a door. Open it up. If the exercise is supposed to be at arm level here, you're just going to put it on the side of the door. Make sure the door closes firmly and does not open up. You do not want the door to fly open during exercise. You can also position this on top, or you can position it down below as well, depending upon the exercise and where you want the force to come from.
That's right. Now, we've been using these door anchors for years with patients, and or you can use it around a doorknob, or you can use it around a bedpost. And what Bob and I actually came up with was a system that made this much easier. We did invent the wall anchor. I'm going to demonstrate on the wall anchor. You do not need wall anchors. It just makes it more simple. Door anchor works just fine. I would suggest using that. Once you know you really like this system, you can buy this if you want, and you'll see why they're a little easier. All right, we do need to go through the critical part the studies refer to in regards to how many sets and reps and whatnot. So we're going to put the magic formula on the screen. You can look at it. Mike will talk about it and put it on pause if you want to write it down on your notes.
So the first key to the magic formula is intensity. This refers to how much resistance you are using. If you're using dumbbells, it would mean more weight. For bands, it would mean a darker color, there's more resistance. Another way to add intensity is to stand further away from the band. It's going to increase how hard the exercise becomes. You should feel a slight fatigue or burning sensation in the muscle group on your last couple reps of the exercise, as long as you're still performing them with good form. You don't want to compensate that. The next part of the magic formula is volume. So that refers to how many sets and repetitions you do. So say you do 8 repetitions of an exercise. The next time you do it, a couple days later, maybe try to do 10 if it was easy. You're increasing the amount of work you're doing over time. You don't want to jump right into it. Take it slow. We'll kind of explain it as the exercises go up, but you want to begin easier and eventually build up how many sets and repetitions you are doing. And the last thing is how many days a week you are doing this. We're going to start with 3 days a week, and you want at least a day off in between. So maybe pick Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This will allow the muscles to repair and regrow, which is what you want to build up that muscle strength and reduce that flab.
Very good, Mike. So sometimes there might be 2 sets of 10. So you'd do 10, rest a little bit, do 10 more. If I just wanted to clear that up if you see that or want to progress as you will get stronger. Okay, should we go to the exercises?
Yes. Okay, the first exercise we're going to do is the bicep curl. This is an isolation exercise just for the biceps. So what you're going to do is grab a band, stand back at a decent resistance. You feel some tension in your arms, and you're going to face the door. Again, you want the wall anchor for this to be on the bottom of the door here. And you're simply going to curl your elbows up towards your shoulders. As I'm doing this, I'm keeping my elbows close to my body. I'm not winging out like this. And I'm also keeping a nice good trunk. I'm not cheating and using my whole body to rock into this. Stay stationary, control it. If you go up for, say, 2 to 3 seconds and then slowly down for 3 seconds, that's going to get a lot more muscle growth than going like this. So go nice, slow, and controlled, and start with 8 repetitions.
All right. Now we can go how this works if you have the band or the wall anchor. I'm going to put that on down there. And again, it's the same thing. Now, one thing though I like to do with this is when I do these, I'll actually turn this way, and you can do them this way. Offers different. Now this works my core a little bit more in the stomach muscles. Like Bob, he likes to double his up and really get the power band in there, get those biceps growing. So there's a lot of different ways you can work angles and directions with this. So there's a few of them. So I do want to mention, if you really want to build massive Hulk muscles, you're probably not going to use bands. You're going to tone, you're going to grow muscle mass. But if you want to get big, massive muscles, you probably need to use iron. But anyways, that's not our goal. Let's go on to the next one.
The second exercise is going to work the tricep, the 3 muscle heads on the back of your arm here. Now we're going to show different variations of this depending upon range of motion or limitations you may have. The first variation, you're going to have to put the anchor up top here on the door, make sure it's closed, stand back so you get some tension, and then you're going to push your elbows towards the floor in a nice slow controlled manner, and then back up towards the ceiling. Notice that I'm not lifting my arms way up like this, I'm keeping my shoulders where they are. I'm just extending the triceps. All they do is extend your elbow.
So elbow is stationary. Really think about they're glued in one spot.
Yes. Now, if this is easy or you want a different challenge and work your core a little bit, you can face away from the door like this. Again, your elbows are going to stay stationary and you're going to extend them, pushing out. The resistance is going to be behind you. And if the bands are harder, it's going to make you work on your balance and your core a little more as well. Now, if your shoulders can't get to this range of motion, the first exercise is perfectly fine. It'll definitely work those triceps.
That's right. Let's go to another option. Now, doing that really works the core and the balance. This does not, because we're going to do it in a seated position, but it works quite well for the triceps. You know, we really want to get that flab batwing thing going and get it to be abolished. So you sit against the wall, back against the wall, elbows against the wall, and that really forces good form. And just do like Mike mentioned, don't go too fast. This is not going to do much good compared to this. Now, there's a little bonus here. Seeing how you're here, we're going to also add in, you don't have to do this, but the lats. So you're going to get those latissimus dorsi, and it's just so convenient. It's really hard to find a place where you can do this exercise because you're pulling down with an overhead thing. So the door or the wall anchors really work well for this one. All right, let's go to the next exercise.
The next exercise is called a scapular row. It refers to your shoulder blades for the scapular part. So you're going to get a band. Now, when I'm pulling out and my arms are straight, I want to feel some tension here initially when my arms are straight. I don't want it relaxed. It's not going to do much. So as you pull back, I'm going to bring my hands into my rib cage, almost squeezing my shoulder blades together like this. If you struggle to keep your balance this way, you can certainly stagger your stance if needed, but just keep a slight bend in the knees, go back, squeeze, feel that shoulder blade, and then go forward. This is more a compound movement, like I mentioned earlier. So I'm primarily working my upper back muscles, but I'm also working my bicep muscles because I'm flexing my elbow.
And the big thing about this one I like, and that's what Bob and I really talk about over the years, is posture, posture, posture. You know, if your arms look good and you have poor posture, it's not going to be a very sightly sight to see, if you will. Let's go forward, Mike. I really like the point. Now, I've worked with patients in the clinic, and they'll start with the bands just floppy like this. And that's really what you want to avoid. You have the wrong size band on if that's the case. So you should always start with some tension. You know, and this is a yellow band. It's the easiest band. Most beginners may start with this, but that's right. Keep resistance throughout the whole motion so you get maximum benefits.
And this exercise, you might be able to do a darker band right away because it works your back muscles more. You'll probably be a little stronger. So each exercise, you could pick different bands. You don't have to stick with the same one.
Right. And again, you can vary your resistance by how far from the door. If you have the wall anchor, again, we're going to do the same thing here. You know, sometimes I will actually go out like this and do it. Mike, can you show my scapular position? When I'm going back, I'm thinking, squeeze that. I'm going to go towards the camera. Squeeze those scapulas to the center of the spine. That really stretches these muscles and gets that posture where you want it. All right, let's go to the next one.
And the fourth exercise is a fly. Now this is going to work your pecs a bit and the front shoulder. Your arms are involved, but again, it's kind of a compound movement, getting a lot of muscle groups at once.
Right.
So in order to do this, I've put the band here at the side. This is a good starting position. You can do this exercise up top or down below as well. It just pulls from a slightly different angle. So in order to do this, you want the band to be taut, and I feel tension here. And I'm going to bring my arms back so they're almost behind my shoulder, or shoulder blade level is fine, whatever posture you have. Now, with keeping a straight arm, I'm going to try to basically bring my knuckles together straight in front of me. Notice I'm not here close. I'm far out in front of me, and then I'm going back. Go nice, slow, and controlled with this motion. Again, you can start with 8 repetitions the first day. If it becomes easy, eventually, you can work up to 3 sets of 12 repetitions.
I do want to mention and emphasize, particularly if you have some shoulder problems in the past, don't go back too far because that's puts your shoulders susceptible for dislocation. So be conservative and actually maybe start not going so far back and make sure it feels comfortable, particularly the next day. If you haven't done these before, the next day is really going to answer some questions if you went too hard or maybe too much range. That muscle soreness, and so we don't want you to have bad experience.
And when I'm doing this exercise, since it's working my pecs, I'm not thinking about my arms bending in. I'm thinking about bringing my pecs and squeezing them in together. So basically, it's the opposite of the last exercise, working the scapula.
Right.
Squeezing that front pec muscle in.
Which is nice to get both sides of the body to be strengthened so you're balanced. I do want to show an option. If you do it to the top of the door, it'd be the anchor here. Now, if you want just option if you want more resistance and you're pulling out really far and you're afraid the band is going to break. It's easy just to put two bands on like I have here, a yellow and a red one, and that offers more resistance and brings you into the range so you don't have to stretch and be concerned about the band breaking. So now it's the same exercise, but we're working different fibers of the pec muscles as well as the arms and the shoulders, and we're working them here. Again, don't go way back. Keep them in short to start out with and make sure everything goes well over time. Actually, when I do this as a little bonus, I do this and then I go right to my triceps, and it saves time. You don't have to reset the band or the anchor so much. And then if you want to go from there, you can put the chair down and do them here. There's all kinds of options that you can work with the bands that I really like that make it a nice product that gives you all the benefits you need. I just love the bands.
So, I should say pick which arm exercises you like. This works every different area of the chest, back, bicep, tricep, shoulder region. So, it's good to try to do all of them. Maybe you can spread them out through the week if you don't want to do them all in one session.
That's right. Once you get used to them, make sure you stick to that 3 days per week. Build up your intensity, build up your resistance, and you're going to find your muscles are going to start to grow. You're going to feel better. Your posture is going to look better. And there's no doubt about it. It's going to work. It's going to take a few weeks to build, but stay with it. Just keep on going at it and have fun. You know?
A good way to know if it's time to progress is if the exercise become very easy,
Yeah.
very nonchalant, you're breathing easy, there's no muscle soreness whatsoever every time you do them, then it's time to progress, maybe add more repetitions or change the band or double them up.
That's right. Good luck with it, and you will have success with this. Guarantee it.